Guys? Octavo. Having some coffee, trying to relax. And when I say relax, I'm not trying to take my my sedatives right now, because I can relax off coffee. And when the coffee kind of doesn't work anymore, then I have to take a sedative. Yeah, it's kind of backward ass. I got like an ADHD that is on a basketball court going back and forth. It's just nonstop. So, like, to get a sedative, it's very difficult for me. You know, I have to fucking convince the doctor, hey man, my ADHD, whatever you want to call it, isn't exactly the same as everyone else's. And you know, I got other pertaining issues, and it's in my, you know, just so you know, it's in my mental health, you know, record that I possibly suffered some brain damage at birth, and that can cause all kinds of neurological effects. So since science isn't that advanced, and I'm not a big fan of a lot of science anyway, I would not hesitate to say that I may even be partially, and when I say partially, I mean really mildly autistic. Like really mildly autistic, just due to the, you know, maybe some brain damage at birth, you know. So just to let you know, kind of throw that one at you while I take a hit of some weed. And you know, how am I handling the virus is a good question I would pose myself, just to answer a little to sorry ass audience that I may or may not have, or whatever it is that I do have. I just think that it's a ploy. It's got several counterparts to it. First, create a virus that's not going to be super threatening, but will scare everyone shitless. Two, put a scenario in place that would match CDC regulations to keep people separated from, you know, or away from each other. And now, stopping there, I don't even want to go to part 3 and 4 and 5. Okay, but there's several facets to this, guys. This is they are realizing they are losing touch with the brainwash abilities they have in place. So what they're doing is they're going to try to do it physically. You know, they're going to try to control you physically now. And that would be a bad idea, and it's a bad idea for, you know, somebody to create a scenario which would also invite Democratic hosts to engage in a plentiful and vast attempt to, you know, persuade people to vote in another direction. And just because they have no options, you know, they don't have a case or anything on the president, so they're just like completely fucking clueless as to what to do, except they can use this virus and try to make it and mold it into the Democratic line of thought in some way, shape, or form, cause people to vote Democratic, or at least not for Trump. So that's just maybe part of the facet, you know. But also, it's not based from the Democrats. I have a feeling that this whole thing, this event, is taking place from folks that are not in, you know, not with us on the surface of this planet. All right, guys, I know it sounds a little funny, but man, there's too much light in here. Hold on, guys. Too much fucking light in here. It's making my clean, shiny nose shine too much. All right, take a little light down there. You know, I just washed my face, and my nose is all shiny and shit, like right there. I hate that. Oh well. So what it is this: somebody outside of our knowledge, or the general population, is telling us that we need to do this. And they say, you know, they're saying, you know, you can either implement this, or we can come down and cause some things to happen. And the government's like, no, don't do that, don't do that. Don't come down and do anything yourself. We'll do it. We'll send this little nobody virus around. No worse than you know, this, that, or the other. We'll act like it has potential to be something phenomenally way worse, and then nobody will want to take the chance, and they'll listen to us. So I think that's what's going on. Somebody, and when I say somebody, it could be just about anything, outside of our knowledge. It could even be from some underground bases, but I doubt it. I think the order is coming from, and being directed to the planet. And why else would every fucking country comply right a fucking way? They all fucking complied, right? Oh, we'll shut the economy down? Okay. Why else would they all do that unless it was a threat outside of our control? That's the only thing that would make them comply. The entire world comply. Yes, sure, the CDC, but it doesn't make them the world leader. They say Sweden didn't follow the regulations. But I'd like to but in reality, they are. They're telling their people to do it, take the initiative to protect people out of respect or something and leave it up to the people, which is typical of Sweden. They do that all the time for everything. They're neutral for warfare, everything. So what's going on, and I really do believe this, is an event is going to take place soon. To get the event properly, in post-production, so that the event can take place the way somebody else outside of ourselves wants it to go down, and without compliance, we would be at risk of other really bad things. So, like when Reagan said, what if we had a threat outside, of the planet, or whatever he said. I'm paraphrasing, I forget. But the point is this: yes, he was giving you a hint. There are some folks that want to push our buttons, and it's coming soon. Yes, that's what's going on, guys. Now, when I say push your buttons, what do I mean? I have a feeling that, whatever's going, it's a little complex for even me to figure out, because I got good intuition. But my intuition is being mixed by so many different other things that are taking place outside of our known thoughts and people-related kind of everyday events. And my intuition has a hard time gluing onto that stuff outside of there. So to do it, it would be hard, number one, because there's so many events taking place outside of our knowledge, and different kinds of beings, creatures, humans as well, different kinds of humans, different kinds of hominids, and they could be getting ready to repopulate the earth with other forms of beings, creatures. It's kind of like when the zoo goes to clean out a cage to get it ready for a new creature or something, a new animal, because the other one died and they have another animal, exotic animal in. Okay, they may be prepping the human race to go bye-bye. Yeah. To go bye-bye. They want to do it. They don't want everyone talking within the confines outside in the public, because then they'll share knowledge of other people that are against this. They don't want you to share knowledge, so the only way they can act communist without being communist is to employ these viral freak show tactics. And as well, some people are trying to use it to their advantage, as I said before. That would be the Democratic Party. And George Soros, just like Ceausescu in Romania, needs to be found, held, shot in the head in front of everyone. And if not hung by his fucking ankles with nails and shit or something. I swear to God, I want to see that guy tortured. I'm sorry, guys. Torture is a good thing sometimes, all right? First of all, George Soros has admitted in the past that he enjoys causing problems with geographic locations. And he admitted it on 60 Minutes. I mean, literally, straight up. Way back in the 80s or 90s or something. He enjoys it. So it's not a George Soros thing, though, this time. But George Soros has got his hand on the poker table, as we do. And he can still do what he does until he can no longer, which will probably be pretty soon if you take a look at him. And he does kind of remind me, I ain't gonna lie, of somebody that would play an evil villain on like Star Wars, you know, or the Emperor that controls, or whatever, whoever it was that controlled the freaking, the fucking, I don't even know what the fucking name I'm thinking of. I can't believe this. Darth Vader. Jesus Christ. But yeah, because his face, if you look at it. Now, it doesn't mean just by proxy, everyone that looks like that's evil, I mean, there's a person down the street, he looks really, got big bags under, even worse than George Soros, but he's not evil. He's a dickhead, but he's not evil, he's harmless. The point I'm making is everybody's got their hand in on this poker game, and, they don't even know what the outcome is going to be. So that's what this video was for. It was to say that, you guys, this is not even a government thing with the CDC, and no way, because they couldn't shut the entire world down that quickly with little or no evidence that it was from the beginning. So the point is this: something is amidst. Okay, something's in the future is going to happen. It's not going to necessarily have to do with the surface dwellers, us humans, or the people outside of our planet, from outside of our universe, in other dimensions. See, this is another thing, guys. I got to say this again. They don't travel through space time, like linear space time that we have here. That would be totally, totally irrelevant. It would be like, why? It would be a useless way to travel. If you were to ask something like an extraterrestrial, well, then why are we building spaceships to try to do that? It's because you guys don't know any better. Most people that travel through this universe, there's hardly any of them. From where I'm from, we go to different dimensions and stuff where the universes are way more lively and interesting. So that's what I think's going on, guys. We're in a pretty much desolate universe that, gets some activity, but we also get, we have control mechanisms in place that are outside of our own human ability to really do anything about. And so, kind of like when the Ewoks were on that planet and Star Wars shit was going on the surface, it's like mixed with primitive, whatever, that don't know what shit, they have to build tree houses, right? No, it's similar. It's a big contrast of developmental information. And one thing they don't want is you to figure out that, the way they travel. Because if you were to figure out the way these extraterrestrials actually do travel, and when I say not through our space, I'm not talking about our universe. I'm talking about their places where they go. Outside of this dimension and other dimensions, inward, outward. And, this is like this has actually got a name for it. This universe has got a particular name for it. That means extremely rural and desolate. That's what the title of our universe is to them. Extremely rural and desolate. But there's lots of life there. It's just near where stars are, and that's it. Everything else is vacuum. No, they're not interested in that. No, they don't travel through it, nor do they even want to go check out too much. For instance, because even with the technologies that they have, sometimes they have to follow rules and regulations that stipulate their safety, as well as Homeland Security here is trying to make us believe we have to kiss their ass. But at the same time, that may be in a sense true because, we don't exactly know what their agenda is, but they may have a clue. So I have a feeling it has nothing to do with, Nibiru or any of that shit. If it is Nibiru is a goddamn gigantic space station meant for interstellar dimensional travel. So, interstellar but dimensional, as in they don't fuck with this universe, but they use this as a hub, location, a mainstay, a bus stop. This is a location where they can come and see where the other aliens meet and greet and whatever, and go over to whatever other dimension they're trying to get to. They do segue our universe to do this, though, sometimes, because our universe is a dimension that's available to to cause their travel skills to become even more refined. Because every universe from every other dimension they get to, they have to figure out, and they have to, it has to be properly studied so that they can manipulate their vehicles through the hubs in this location and stuff. And this is just a stop-off area. This is almost like a truck stop to those extraterrestrials. Not because it's got, food available or anything like that, but because it's got other extraterrestrials, and it's not empty. Okay, so that's what my view is, and it has to do a little bit with the virus. I think these guys outside of our knowledge are in control, and kind of like, hey, once in a while they tell us, hey, you're going to have to cut back on the births. You're going to have to maybe stop having people talk to each other, because if they do, they'll figure out more and more and more about what, how, that Roswell was actually not fake, wasn't bullshit, wasn't, and that, various other crashes, they do have them. Now, why am I going to extraterrestrials? Because that's where I think a lot of this stuff has come from. Not to say that they were necessarily, the ones dealing with us are probably human looking, but they're not from here, this planet. And if they are, they may have installations under, but I don't think the majority of them do. Most of them, they don't need a green planet. They just go into the moon, build their gigantic shit inside it. Or they already, that is a spacecraft, which is kind of how I look at it. It's just got regolith as camouflage. And that's why the meteors only go down so far. Any meteor you see on the moon, it goes so far and it gets flat against as if there's a barrier underneath there. And it is a barrier, because there's meteors that are so big they almost take up a quarter the size of the moon, and yet there's no giant concave in the moon at all. There's not even evidence that at one time there was. It's just that the meteors can't penetrate the moon like you think. The only craters you see that go like this in the moon are the smaller ones in the regolith. The regolith is very thick, but it's not meant to be the stuff that protects the moon. Underneath the regolith, I think, is a subdimensional barrier. The subdimensional barrier is what causes the craters to only go down so far, and that's it, and it's a barrier. It's a subdimensional barrier, and the reason why they do it that way is because the physics of the subdimension cannot be penetrated. So it's a perfect shield, but it's hidden under the moon. Now, outside of the moon, there's all kinds of energies and stuff taking place, and they helped us get to the moon. Some of these beings, and they wanted to make it look like we were making some advancements at that time, so that they could continue to do some work with us without us losing or having wars again or something. So they wanted to show us a little confidence. So they said, yeah, we'll put you in these little 1.5 inch thick modules that can't possibly hold a compression properly, but yeah, or whatever it is they do. And but they won't know that. They won't know that. So and then we'll just get you there, and it'll look like you flew there, and this, that, and the other. You can do your rocket, and we'll just do the rest. And that's what I think happened. And now, though, this is the protocol. Now that we let you do that, this is what they're saying, the extraterrestrials. Now that we let you fucking do that, don't ever fucking come back here, because your ships, not only will they get shot or blown out of, just completely destroyed, if we don't decide to do that, you'll run into some stuff that will kill you nearby. And also, the radiation belt, that's why it's there, actually. It's to keep us at bay. Now, is there a way to get through it safely? Well, supposedly there is, according to what we have been told about the moon astronaut, the astronauts that went on Apollo missions. They just took a special route, and it helped them get through it, But there's 3 of them in Van Allen Belt. And so I think that was bullshit. No, they helped us through that. And they said, if you do find a way, afterwards, they said, if you do find a way to get through the Van Allen Belt, do not come back to the fucking moon. because this is our spacecraft. This is our shit here, bro. You know, we don't mind you getting some, you know, a little interest in outer your solar system, but if you're gonna go somewhere, go to Mars. You'll find some petrified debris there, and it'll really get you going. But don't come to the moon, because you'll get destroyed by our energies that come out of here for transport and communications. And we have been held at bay and told that we're not picking up any of this stuff, guys. We've been held at bay. They've been telling us all these years, oh, the only thing we got is the WOW signal. And now the WOW signal is apparently, it's happening all the time. It's even Linda Moulton Howe says that the WOW signal is somehow, it's like, I don't know, it's like some outrageous amount of energy in a fraction of a millisecond. It takes place now that it found them all over the place. So now it's being disseminated, guys. We got the extraterrestrials living with us. They're, you know, they're telling us and showing us what to do. They're doing everything for us, our technology even. Yeah. And the reason why is because they wanted to speed us up. They you know, they have their reasons. They wanted to speed us up a little, but then they, you know, they have their regrets as well for speeding us up in technology. So, you know, they have their own way of trying to figure out what they're going to do next. And one of them is this new viral contingent to stay away from people and wear a mask all the time. So, yeah, and I'm not sure exactly what is at play there. And I do feel like a major event's going to happen, guys. If it is Nibiru, it's going to be a giant friggin' space station, but it's designed to take on from all dimensions, not this universe. It's designed to, yeah, some of them use it as a hub from this universe, but it's mainly for other dimensions. A lot of people will ask, well, what are you trying to say? I'm trying to say that a lot of life we know right now on this planet, it's been, by design, it's terraformed. It has been terraformed. We are terraformed. We are actually a substrate of a other kind of human that looks a lot, pretty much just like us, except they had to rig us with primates because that was the genetic stock that was brought here. And they don't, the only way to keep the genetic stock healthy is to use healthy genetic stock and not something that's been, probably doesn't even procreate anymore because it has another way to create itself. So anyway, and the reason why we procreate is because that's the poor man's way from extraterrestrial's vantage point of creating more humans and stuff like that.